Hello, hello, Taurus. It's that time again. And today I'm going to be doing your September 2018 overview reading. Remember, these readings are good for your sun, moon, and rising. So if you're a sun, moon, or rising Taurus, this will apply to you. And then just to answer, I know I get this question a lot, but one is probably going to resonate more than the others. So just go ahead, feel it out. See what works for you. They're probably all not going to resonate, but one or two might more than the others. That's usually what I found. So go ahead, tune into your body, set your intention for the reading. If there's anything you're looking to have come up today, or that you feel like you could use some guidance on, just be open to it, ask for it. If there's any tension in your body, just say hello to it. Give it a little bit of attention. Okay, so the first thing coming up, make stuff that feels good to make, right? That's definitely what this is a general rule of thumb for anyone who's creating anything or doing work. It's kind of like there's always going to be something you don't enjoy that goes along with whatever it is that you're doing. But ultimately, you want to work on things that make you feel good, that are enjoyable, that is satisfying to you. So just keep that in mind as you're making decisions, as you're figuring out what you're creating, as you're figuring out what you're producing or what you're searching for. You want to focus on how do you feel, does it make you feel expansive or contract? Now, the word of the month, and don't forget, these cards have 3 phrases, so one might resonate more than the others, and just pay attention to your own intuition. We have foundation, lay the concrete first, establish patterns, create coherency and stability. Now that you know that you deserve sustainability and allow it in. And then the animal spirit for you is wolf. So really taking charge, being the leader of your own life, and then also understanding that connections matter long term. So the connections that you have, the connections that you make are going to be a big support for you. So it's worthwhile to kind of navigate those relationships and just see what you can give and what you can get in relationships. Now I am going to pull, this is 11 relationships Affirmators deck, but it applies to you in any type of connections, not just romantic. So let's see what's coming up for Taurus. Acceptance. When I get to know new people, I accept their actual traits rather than the ones I project on them. Same goes for not new people I already know. Acceptance is the delicate art that reminds us everyone is their own unique self, and we can't expect them to ever be anything but. Man, how do these snowflakes do it? Okay, so it's just about kind of allowing people to be how they are without trying to micromanage them, without trying to exclusively look at their potential. That's also a dangerous concept when you're looking at someone who has crappy behavior, but you're only seeing what you'd like to see. That also gets people into trouble from time to time. So just be honest with yourself and accept people where they're at right now. Okay. If you've been on my channel for a while, you probably recognize this spread. It is the Maslow's hierarchy of needs spread that I decided to do a while back. So I'm going to start with the bottom row. This is foundation. This is all your resources, money, home, shelter, any material resources that you need for the month of September. We have the High Priestess coming up first. This is all about you noticing kind of like your internal compass, your intuition around anything that you have coming up at this time. Any nudges that you feel around going and doing something. It's going to be worthwhile to take action on those, because I'm seeing this as you having payoff and listening to your intuition, to those little messages that you're getting, like, hey, go do that, go talk to that person. It's just about making the attempt, because as you build more connections, you're going to realize that your network is growing, the potential for you to get more things is growing, and it all comes through connections. That's where the majority of manifestations come through. Now we have the Knight of Rocks. So this is all about the foundation that you've built so far. It's so funny that that word is coming up so much for you. You're building, you're constructing. That's something that's still in the works. I think that it's probably going to take a little while longer, but it's about persistence. So you can see that it's like he's obviously being fed. Right? The knight in this deck, in this suit, is like, yep, I know how to get what I need. I know how to get resources. The confidence and the knowing is there. It's about allowing yourself time and patience, especially if you're a Taurus with big goals. You have to accept that it is going to take time to build. You're constructing something, and it's not an overnight process. You're not just going to have success immediately. It's through consistency over time is really where you get to see the benefits of that. And then we also have the Five of Torches. This looks like conflicting ideas. So I don't actually think that this is a bad thing or an external conflict. I think that this has more to do with inside yourself, like, which way do I go? How do I go about this? How do I know which one is the right direction? And so I think the remedy for this is what feels good. When in doubt, you kind of have to trust what feels good for you. If both options feel really aligned with you, then just pick one. Pick one that you can get done faster. Like, just make it simple for yourself when you're thinking about how to go about pursuing resources, getting something done, building a project. And then finally, we have Judgment. When you make a decision, stick to it. It's not really going to serve you to waver. It's something that you want to build, you want to execute, and then be patient and consistent with it. That's really what it's about. So it's kind of like if you're deciding to leave a job, for example, then, or you want more money, so you're leaving one job for another, you want to put out an application, stick with that decision, and then, continue doing that process. You just want to be consistent with it and trust that it's going to come up. Okay, now this area is connections, romance, relationships. This is familial, platonic, like your community. So first thing, we have the Hierophant. Boundaries are your best friend this month. Make sure that you're being really adamant with the boundaries that you're setting. This is not a time to waver or set aside your desires and your needs. It's a time to kind of lean on them for support. And then when a boundary is crossed, make sure that you are making it clear that, you consider that I don't want to say a violation, that sounds a bit too harsh, but to not do it again. Like, hey, I don't like that, don't do it again. Like, it's very cut and dry. The Hierophant isn't emotional. The Hierophant doesn't take it personally. It doesn't have to become an issue. It's a simple, I need respect, and this is a way for you to show me respect. I'd appreciate that. It's very simple. So the more you can lean on that, the easier it's going to be in relationships. We also have the Seven of Feathers. So what are you leaving behind? I would say that this is probably a relationship pattern that is no longer serving you, that you're shedding. So maybe there's something about your communication, about your dynamics, about your expectations, whatever the case may be, or like wanting somebody to be different. That's something that probably doesn't work for you anymore. So it's just about letting go and walking away from the parts within yourself that are not serving your relationships and really helping you in interpersonally. And then we also have the Six of Feathers. So see, it's like you're ascending, you're moving up, you are healing a lot. You're making a lot of things happen. You're just, it seems like there's so much progress. Now, I want to be clear. You can stay and not make any changes and not have anything be different. You don't have to. This is not something where you have to take this advice, or if you're not ready to move on and heal, that's okay too. We all have our own process with these things. So while it is in your highest good to release patterns and behaviors and perspectives that are holding you back, it is not something that you have to do. Nobody is going to hold your hand through this, right? It's up to you. And the clarifier for this is the Four of Cups. You guys, in order for you to heal, you have to say no to the things that don't work for you. This is really clarifying this Hierophant. So it's kind of like, if there is something that somebody is doing that you do not like, and you don't speak up or advocate for yourself, and it's not easy, that is part of what's going to persist it's going to just enable or facilitate the behaviors to persist. So make sure that you're kind of shutting out what doesn't work, and that you're calling in what it is that you want, that you're communicating. And it doesn't mean that you have to shut out relationships. It means that you have to set clear boundaries. Okay, then up here, this is like success, ambition, career, like the achievement section. So for September, we have the Three of Torches. I think you're looking at what's coming next. You're kind of looking at what's coming up and seeing how things are going to go moving forward, but it may not be, how do I put this? Like, it's in the distance a bit. You know, you're working towards something. There's like a big goal. There's something that you want, that you're looking to achieve, and it's on the horizon, but it's not quite with you yet. So just be patient with that. And then the next card we have is the Page of Shells. This is really looking like self-reflection. Okay, so kind of looking at yourself, really being honest about what you want, being honest about what you desire, what you want to do long term. Are you in a place that feels good for you? And if not, then the answer is not to look outward, it's actually to look inward. If you are not liking the direction that you're going, you have to look at yourself. It's not something that is going to be solved by getting more. It's an internal shift that you're making, and then the external is going to match that. Okay, and then this is self-actualization or creative projects, things that you're doing. I don't want to say frivolously, but like this is fun, pleasure, recreation. We have the Ace of Feathers. So it looks like everything that you're doing is building up to the point where you kind of are living a lifestyle that feels really good, but there's also a piece of this where it's like you're dreaming about it, you're thinking about it, you're contemplating it, but it may not be something, again, that's in your vicinity. I think you're building a lot. You're doing a lot of healing around relationships this month. You have some big goals. You know what you're doing. It looks very focused and driven this month. It's just about, you know, kind of keeping this in mind, like, hey, I'm gonna clarify this too. Looking at this as the big goal, the ultimate, the ideal, and then from there, building in a way that's conducive to getting here. You have the Hermit. Yeah, you have to kind of pull energy away from it first and allocate it here, right? Because it's kind of like if you're building something and you're really trying to create a foundation for yourself for something long term, you can't overinvest in the present and expect long-term goals to be met. It's kind of like you want to pull your energy a little bit away from instant gratification and put it into something more long-term so that it can be sustainable. And that's really what the message is up here. It doesn't mean you can't have fun right now, but it's about being really conscious of how much you're putting where. Now we're going to move into the timeline. As you guys know, we have first quarter, second, third, and fourth quarter, so that'll be where you're ending the month. So where you start off September, the Seven of Shells, choice, ambitions, it's really about, like, pick one. Pick one task, pick one path, pick one option. Like, you know, you don't have to know what the outcome is going to be necessarily. Trust that you're going to land where you're meant to, and even if you start something and it ends up not working out, the information that you get from that is enough for it to be worth it. So you're not putting yourself in a position to lose. You're just gathering information. So the worst thing that could happen if you're in the process of making a decision or selecting one thing is that it doesn't work and you try something else. I mean, that's really all that you're doing, and then you don't have to do that thing again. Now, the second quarter is the Eight of Feathers, courage, solutions. This is finding out how to navigate whatever it is that's coming up. If you have a roadblock, this looks highly mental because it's not actually something that's happening in your environment. It looks like it's a perception thing. You might have some perfectionism coming up. You might have some old anxious thoughts coming up that you're trying to figure out. It just looks like there's some navigation that needs to happen so that you're able to move forward. But this is an internal, again, this is internal, cerebral, not something that's happening on the outside. Third quarter, we have the Empress, beauty, abundance, taking really good care of yourself. Really, really good care of yourself. So just make sure that you're really prioritizing your needs and filling your cup. The Empress has an abundance of energy to share with other people. She's known as the nurturer because she takes care of herself. She would not be able to be supportive and kind and generous with others if she did not put herself first. She would not be able to create a healthy community if she didn't set healthy boundaries and advocate for herself. And so this is actually a model for you to look at, what can I do to honor myself so that I can be the best version of myself for myself and others. Okay, now wrapping up the month. So the end of September, we have the Three of Crystals, collaboration, productivity. I think there's a little bit of analysis paralysis that starts off the month, and it's kind of like, I'm scared. You might have some fear. You might have some blocks come up, and then it's like, dive into self-care. Really own the parts of yourself that are aligned with what you want and what you desire long term. And then as soon as you do that, it takes off. Remember, this is all a choice. You don't have to do any of this, but this is the energy that's working for you. So it's something that you can work with this month in order to make September really productive and valuable. All right, now we're doing a 3-card pick. As you guys know, you're welcome to ask a specific question. You can ask for guidance. You can pick as few or as many cards as you'd like, whatever feels good for you. Alrighty, card number 1. 9 of Rods. You might have some bulldozer energy coming up, which is like I'm gonna achieve my goals come hell or high water. And that is what it's something that it's like, I don't think it's sustainable this month for you to sit in that energy for very long. So it's just kind of like, if you're getting really stubborn about the outcome, check what's happening inside. Like, is there a part of your self-worth that's attached to the success? Is there a part where, like, check where it is that you're putting a lot of your energy, and if you're doing it for yourself or for someone else. It just looks like you kind of want to check your motives here. Now, card number 2, we have the 5 of Swords. Again, this is more of that stepping away from what doesn't work. And we're always doing this, right? It's a process that we have to do in order to grow. We're constantly changing and evolving. It's kind of like, you know, not everything is in your closet is going to work for you forever. So it's kind of like doing the purging where necessary. And then card number 3, we have the 3 of Cups. Hang out with people, go make connections, spend some time with people that you care about, have fun. It's going to be the month to do that. So find a space where you can do that safely and securely, and it looks like there's going to be plenty of fun, love, and kindness to be had there. So it just looks like taking some time to have fun is going to loosen everything up, and that could actually make a big difference for what you're building and what you're trying to achieve. All right, so that is all that I have for you today, Taurus. Thank you so much. I absolutely appreciate every single one of you. And don't forget, if you're looking to work with me one-on-one, if you want a tarot spread, or you have a single question that you want to ask, all of the links are in the description box, or you're welcome to go to onyxhealing.com to check all of that out. And have a lovely September, and I will talk to all of you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.